What's going on, everyone? Today we are talking about camera angles, and in specific we are talking about the Dutch angle. Today we're talking about the Dutch angle, and the Dutch angle is an angle that is on the roll axis at a degree from 5 degrees all the way up to 50 degrees. I wouldn't really go past 50 degrees, but you don't want to go too far past 45. But some people can say a Dutch angle is technically at 90 degrees, which I don't think that's technically a Dutch angle. That's on its side. Some people will say it's Dutch. I don't find it Dutch. I find Dutch from 60 back to about 5, as long as it's a little off. And what the Dutch angle is used for, it's a psychological uneasiness or high tension in your character, or you're wanting the audience to feel uneasy and discomfort. They're disoriented. It's like they're in a different world or something like that. It's not a normal feeling. And when you see Dutch angles in films, sometimes there will be movement if you have a DP that knows what he's doing, whether it's on a jib or dolly or Steadicam or whatever. But most of the time you'll see a Dutch as a static shot, which static means that the tripod does not move. It doesn't dolly, it doesn't jib and go all over the place. It's static. It's sitting still. So the Dutch angle doesn't have to be static, and it doesn't have to be just at 45. Sometimes we can start in the Dutch at 45 and we can move it back to 0, and we can dolly or have a dolly pan and reveal, kind of like if you've seen it lately. When Billy is coming up to the house, you're supposed to feel the disorientation because you're like on that property, so it's slanted, but then as we come off the property, we're bringing it back to 0 and we're coming around for a reveal of the house. That's what's making you feel the disorientation. Is why is this camera at 45 degrees? Well, because technically we're trying to make the audience feel like that's where the house is. And once we pull out and we come around and we reveal the house, it's like, oh, there it is, and it stops. Another one, compared to having the audience feel the disorientation in the same film, that was released just last year. If you look when she's in the bathroom and the blood scene and everything like that, when it comes to her in the sink, we go back into a Dutch. And what that is it's putting the horizon line obviously at a different degree. It's turning that frame to the side. But this is making you think that she's in a disorientation. You're now accepting the fact that she's in a disorientation, compared to making you think like I said before, the camera was on that property of that house and it's tilted, giving you the feel of disorientation as the viewer. But then when we jump into this scene and she's in her mind and the blood and everything that's coming after her and the clown, it's tilted at that sink to have you feel that she's in a disoriented area. She's uneasy, she's discomforted, she has high tension, and she has psychological uneasiness. We see the same thing in Inglourious Basterds when the German soldier is on his knees and the Bear Jew, or Donnie Donowitz, is about to bash this guy's brains in. Boom, we hit a Dutch. Why? Because we want the uneasiness, we want the high tension between Donnie and this German soldier. And like I said, with it, they use Dutch angles all over the place. The big, gigantic pile of toys and stuff that's in the middle of the thing. When she's at the sink, when they're going into the house, when he's riding his bike up to the house. And here's another thing. When he's riding the bike up to the house, it is so wide, and they're using a Dutch on it, that you can see the horizon line of the road, but it's also curved because the lens is so wide. And I mean, obviously it's Cineglass. I don't know what lens it was, but I thought that was kind of cool that they are using something that's so pulled back that it's creating a curvature of the road in the background. And here's something a little more slight. for instance, Sleepy Hollow, when Johnny Depp is on the ground of the first guy that had his head removed from the Headless Horseman, we're now at 10 degrees. I mean, it's not a huge adjustment compared to some stuff that you see in Inglourious Bastards, where we're talking 32 degrees, 30 in the 30 area. But in Sleepy Hollow, it's at 10 degrees. It's just a slight off, but you notice that. It gives you that uneasy, discomforted feeling. Here's a great one. Take Django, for instance. When we jump into this severe Dutch angle where actor Jamie Foxx is talking with this other guy here, as you see, but it's giving you a point of view of what she's seeing as she's on the ground. And that's why it's at that severe Dutch, because it's a psychological high-tension scene. Alright guys, that is it. Like I said, I appreciate anyone and everyone who has come and subscribed since I have talked about, the new YouTube rules and the movement of actual subscribers and the people that aren't walking away from this and that are still coming to YouTube and watching videos. I appreciate your subscriptions to my channel. It's supposed to make you feel uneasy because it's tilted to the side. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you go right up here and click the subscribe button. And we got a couple of videos over here for you to see. Now go and use the Dutch angle where you can. And as always, have a good one.